All right. So I have a cup of coffee, a glass of water, some candle wax melting to give a nice lemon cookie scent to the room. Nice and comfy. Where is my music audio? Put that on. Hopefully not too loud. Compared to me, a little bit. I'll bring it down just a hair. Nice, some quiet background music as we get going here. And we are going to start planning out actual book. I've got a program called Scapple. I always keep trying to call it Scrapple, like scrapbook, but that's not actually it. And I've had this story kind of bubbling back forth in my head for a while, and I've had several people tell me they really kind of want to get going. They think it'd be interesting, so my plan is to work on it for Camp Nano here, which just started up, and do the planning phase of it during camp. And then in November, I'll come back and I'll actually fill it in and attempt to write the novel. So that's the basic explanation of what I'm up to here. Take a pig, put it in a can, scrapple. Is that? I thought scrapple was like some kind of pie. Because that is some kind of food. I do know that. Partially because I got confused on the program name, so when I had to Google it up, I found out that was a food, and I was like, wait, what? Joke from a game called Whacked. I don't think I've even heard that game before. All right, so first thing I want to do, make a note. And the first bits here that I want to start with is, I want to do this in a sequence. So opening bit will be Space Exploration Crew, because that's who actually where everyone that we meet early on comes from. Actually, don't know how far my zoom. This is probably a bad idea. Where am I? Oh, okay, there we go. This is the kind of weird way my brain thinks, is that it kind of works in bubbles. So when I saw this program, I thought this might work pretty well for that. Because the next step is discovers ancient alien bioship. Oops. Now, how do I connect? Aha! Little different. Layout's a little different than I thought. I know I can change like some of the note. Oh! Okay, never mind. That's not what I wanted. Go back. Delete. Oh, I gotta reconnect. Okay. Hey, Damien. How you feeling? Getting used to being able to talk freely and eat freely again? I know it's been a couple weeks since you had everything removed. Been sick the last couple days? Ugh. Hopefully nothing too bad, just like stomach bug or... Eating all right? Well, I mean, even when you're sick, eating right is super important. It'll help you feel way better faster. This sounds a little silly. I keep a couple cans of chicken noodle, like just very basic Campbell's chicken noodle, because when I get really sick, I'll just like get that, a giant box of Cheez-Its, and that's kind of what I'll eat until I feel better. Let's see. Ships get attacked by... I feel Space Pirates is almost too vague, but I actually don't have a better idea for just for like a rebel group or opportunist group, and really they are kind of pirates. They're basically a scavenger set, so bad habit of not eating anything at all. That's not good. That's it. You gotta have something. Connects there. Now, actually, if I move this, does it? Okay, it does redraw the line, so I can put these closer and kind of work out my series of events. And be researcher. Manages to pilot the bioship. Connect. Use a program called Inspiration. Yeah, okay, this is gonna sound like, this might sound a little weird, kind of talks a little bit about the way my brain works. All my notes from high school and college are done in Bubble. And so like I'll have these entire page plus of just bubble charts of explaining, go here to go there, go to this to do that. And it drove people and friends that would be like, hey, can I see your notes? Like, they would actually look at my notes and just go, never mind, I can't use this. Because it just created too much chaos for other people. But for me, having a flow chart where I can say A is what connects to B, what is what leads to C, and that works for me, that just works to tie it all together. Because then I can also turn around and be like, all right, I need all these pieces over here, and this chunk is like all character relations, and so it just... I know it's not necessarily the smoothest method to track that kind of stuff, but it also keeps my brain from literally just doing like these giant tangential paragraphs, and then I have to go dig through the paragraphs to figure out where the heck the one little detail I wanted I buried. So that's one of the big reasons why I thought this program might be really useful. I've got it on a 30-day free license, free trial license, but the program itself isn't too expensive. It's like $15-18. I've had a different note program that I've used for 20 years, but it's been abandoned, so I kind of decided it might be time to move on if I'm going to do something a little more interesting, a little more modern and involved. But anyway, okay. Bioship, and actually I should add this, and drives pirates off. However, and I guess I should dig up I know I had names picked out at one point. This is gonna be a little weird, but I know I have it written down. This is the part where I have to go chase old notes I had. Where? There we go. I think I found it. Nope, that was a different character I was looking up. Hold on that for a minute. So I know I picked out names, but I can't remember what they are at the second. But anyway, what the heck? Why is that? No. There we go. I need to figure out, because it's not really a cockpit, but it is kind of on a bridge. It's kind of like this weird, like, sensory deprivation pod. I guess pod's probably the easiest way to put it. Pilot chamber? Yeah, that'll work for now. And connect there. I feel like I need to like line these up, and I know that's kind of a silly OCD thing. Here. Now let's see, where did... I swear I discussed it there, but I'm not finding it. I remember there was some odd spelling I was going with, but I can't remember what it was now. But all right, like this is the sequence of events that sets the story in motion. This is like the core part that's been in my head for years, for like 2 years now. I almost feel like I need a separate note for... almost feel like I need a separate note for characters, but I might just make a different section for that. Because this is actually really kind of big. Like if I zoom all the way out, I just got this tiny little dot. There's my space all the way over there. This thing kind of lets you go all over the place, which is good. I'd rather have too much room than too little, and then have to figure out where I'm going with it. But anyway, all right. Reset view. After that, search cruise doctor. That ain't how you spell. Determine is caused by the ship. And I'm gonna have to start using names. Take one more search here. Because I know I laid it out somewhere. Also, I'm hoping everyone can hear the music. It's meant to be quiet, but it is meant to be there to where you can hear it. Because I know I'll get quiet a couple times here and there, and I figure some music can help fill in the quiet a bit. Alright. I don't remember where I put it. I remember main character was going to be Robin. It's meant to be... What's the word I'm thinking of? Or if I'm making something else up, it's... Yeah, because it's like... I'm probably just making parts up, but... Next. Wonder if I can... Yeah, I can probably, yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to space that out more. Ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da. Can I do... Oop. Trying to leave this all in one page. I think that... No, that's gonna read a little too tricky, isn't it? It is better the other way. So next piece there. Captain of research crew. As Lucy. See, now originally I was thinking Lucy would actually be like the only other female character, but the more I think on that, the more I think that's probably asking for trouble. I'll have to think of a different connection to be the reason why, but I do know one of the main points. Excuse me. One of the main points I wanted there is that the captain has Lucy, another officer. Partner up with Robin. Both to help understand the ship and Robin's new form. I think that's already kind of pushing that out of the way. Doot. 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 There we go. Get a little coffee. Yeah, that's the... Let's see, the next piece would probably be... I want something else in here for a bit in between this and my next major event, but I'm not sure what I want to fill the time with. But I guess that really kind of easiest way to put it would be actually if I split this in half. No, copy. Actually, if I cut this and just drag it out, does it become its own note? Yeah, well, sort of. Okay. Now I can tidy that up. That out as the next piece. And just have that as together to understand the ship and the changes to Robin's body. We will have eventually Pirates Return. numbers. Pirates are easily started, but they'll soon return in greater numbers. Which leads to... Okay, there. But words. Chamber again. Whoa, that did. Why didn't that link? There we go. There. It's not really it's not really piloting the first time though. That's something to really kind of go over. It's really more activating defenses. But anyway, I'll come back to that. Really don't need to have that in there. At least for the cliff notes. Da, 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 da. Control the ship. But notably, faster to respond. Go. That in. After the conflict. Oh yeah, I didn't realize this had a chemical plant remix in the playlist. Nice. Hello, how do I English? That'd actually be probably. I think the flow here will work. I want. After that, I want. Discover. Can now. Can I now activate parts of the bioship? What the? Okay, this is a good question. Uh, Dark Souls song. Anyway, Robin and Lucy discover Robin can now activate other parts of the bioship and its systems. Nah, just do other parts of the bioship. And can read the language of the alien language. Other systems probably be the best way to put it. I'll leave that up there. And from there, it's going to be as someone that is as someone that has actually played the original Dark Souls and Demon Souls when they were first new. This song is kind of amusing me. I remember the I'm gonna throw myself at the wall until I figure out the secrets. After that, there is
move, Dash. How's his health? Not even halfway. I feel like we'll be doing this again tomorrow. Best damn Dark Souls on Twitch run 700 or 800. Enough fucking around. This is the run. Off to a great start. Good way to go, Dash. And move back in. Fuck yeah. There it is. Gorgeous, Dash. What a cut. And roll. Oh god, you're looking sure, Dash. And inside. There, go to work. Go to work. Hit him. Hit him. Neil, you fuck. Hit him again. Neil, fuck. Neil, you got him, Dash. He's going down. He can't take it anymore. Drop him. Drop him. Wait. Oh, what? What happened? How did I even die? Oh my god. You're kidding me. You are fucking kidding me.
Oh. There we go. Connect. Died. Let's see.
No worries. Dash your rash never goes away. We'll be back. Coming right back.
Well, I just realized I didn't connect this to that.
Let's go again.
That doesn't work as smooth as I wanted.
The song I wrote for the album. I tip my hat to you, man. It's Bart, by the way. Hope you enjoy this. Little song called It Burns Like Hell.
Scoot all of these over. Yes, but this does not. That does not angle quite as well as I was hoping.
Your mother may have cancer. Your
The heck.
father must have lied.
Alright,
It's tighter than a noose around your balls. You're sitting on the saddle horn when the whiskey calls.
let's change this one. That album was striking me as a little weird. Is there a way I can change? Oh, no, don't do that. I don't know, I guess that reads well enough for flowchart. There. Next piece. I know what some of my other points will be, but I'm not sure how I want it to get there. It's part of the fill-in. It's like I kind of feel this needs a little more detail, but I'm also just trying to do the rough outline and idea placing, so I don't really want to start going into deep bits just yet. But why can I not type? History of the bioship. and the race built it. That'll be one of the next big pieces. From there, actually, I'm curious, has it actually recognized? I hate it when Discord bots aren't Discord botting correctly. Oh, I'll worry about the details later. Okay, I know this song. What do I know this song? Oh, Mario 3D World. I like Mario 3D World. Have a little cup of coffee. Alright, so from there, it'll be... Oh, want this to go. I guess at that point, if Gina's going to actually explain the history... I kind of want to save that towards like right at the end of the book, though. Where do I want that? Probably gonna have to move some of this around, but I guess it makes sense to go ahead and get it down on the paper. It'll be I really don't have a name for the race, for the alien race, though. That's one of the... Hmm. Feel part of it is I keep waffling on if I want this to try and be a one wrap novel or a longer series. And if I choose longer, there's certain pieces I kind of want to hold off on and putting out there. But I think it's also one of those things of the more I just get out there and let it keep moving, the better I'm going to be. Thinking without overthinking. So that would be... But if that, I'm going to do that, the next piece would be... No, let's put it at... There. There's parts of this I definitely need to fill in more, because where I want this to go next needs a few more moments to line up. Oh. Part of it is I don't know where to feed this in. So I know I want Robin and Lucy to have had a couple, like, there's some off and on flirting, there's some off and on consolation and other pieces along the way, and I'm just trying to figure out if I want to mark those up as their own scenes or just kind of pepper it in as it goes. Alright. Next place we need is... Anyway, next piece would be... Themself? Their self. Self? Ah, come back. Ah. I am not doing this right. What's this one? Sonic CD. actually, wait, what? Oh, next piece. Be what forces them out. Next things I want is trying to decide. Because there's two different ways I can really push it together. I'm not sure. This is the wall I've had in my head for a while. I was hoping this would kind of help break through it, because it's like I want that, like, the easy solution would say more pirates show up, or that would be a third time that happens to be the motivator, and I don't really want that. It's like I kind of do and I kind of don't. There. I'll leave that alone for now. Save. That hasn't happened yet. That's probably a terrible idea to leave alone. But it hurts. This is trickier when I don't have a name for the book, though. So let's go to a different corner for a while. Come on. Nope. I want to go to a different corner. Zoom in out. Wait, where'd it go? Where'd it go? This might not work the way I'm hoping it does. Where is... Okay, it expands the canvas based on where I'm typing. So research crew persons. I know I want a small to medium-ish crew, but I know there'll be of it. Trying to figure out what role on the ship Lucy plays. I've considered her being another scholar or a different category of scientist. But I've also considered her being kind of security / weapons. I kind of think I like that pairing better, at least currently in my mind. I know. Get a doctor. A captain. Like, that's like the immediate cast I know I need. I'm gonna have to scoot this around. This is probably just gonna shrink again. Kind of a quirky layout. Because, like, I want it to be sci-fi enough that, like, a lot of the little things, like, they really don't need, like, a chef on crew because they'll have... Well, no, maybe. I don't know. I really don't want it to be, like, super duper far, so I don't want, like, transporters or... I like waffle on the, like, food creation or replicators, but... Need some sort of first officer. Probably some engineer. Knock that off. It's like I don't want it to be a huge staff, but I do definitely like the idea of it taking like 15, 20 people. Kind of keep a basic ship going. So probably have that needs to pull out. Have at least one assistant to the doctor. Chief engineer and probably 2 or 3 maintenance. Yeah, actually, the more I think of it. Yeah, I think I do. Want to do a chef. Kind of makes sense. Give him a chef and a sous chef. And probably. So right now that gives 1, 2, 6, 7, 10, 11. That actually works to do like 4 or 5 other researchers hired on as part of the crew. So that's probably what I'm looking at for most of the people that will see through the story. And we'll see actually we'll see Gina through Robin. So that'd be about 15, 16. Like, most of these characters are probably only going to see once or twice. Definitely see the Doctor a couple of times, Captain a couple of times. Not sure how much I want to fill in for parts of this though, but this will be in general. I'll need ship names and stuff before too long, but not yet. It'll be privately funded. Trying to figure out how I want to term that. It's going to be, because really basically it's the equivalent of like a university expedition. So, like, I want to swap these two locations. Up. 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 Nice part about dragging them around to relocate things. Let's see. These parts I want. see. I feel like I'm not terming that right. Actually, yeah, no, I was thinking correctly. Huh? Age him a whole bit. I'm gonna have to make these a lot bigger. Why can't that? Why do you not? Okay, what the heck? Mini expedition? Yeah. To far-reach worlds in space. Often gruff and set. I wanted. I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. I want him to be. Well, but there we go. Actually, I kind of like the idea of maintenance team. The maintenance team should be mostly drones. I mean, a lot of the positions could actually be handled by drones or machines, but I guess one question: how much do I want to redundant that? Would be a nice touch to throw in there, even if I don't do much with it. Where do I want that one to go? Joined up for post-grad work. University. Invitation from professor. This guy needs some more room to work with. There we go. That'll work. Okay. Ow! Ooh. Let's see. I like the idea. Let's see. I want well educated. Go. Definitely want. I want the professor in there. That'll be useful for several steps. Guess would it be? Definitely want to bring professor in. As part of that. Let's do. Da, 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 da. Archaeology, geologist, geology, botanist. I want recenter. Oh, I want to recenter this little. Geologist, a botanist. I want someone to like to be tech focused, but not be. But not actually be like engineering. Engineering. What would that be? Not engineering. Hmm. I'm trying to figure out where I want how to explain that. They'd be like someone focused on like when like discovering a world, or they'd be like trying to understand their technology. Technical specialist, I guess. Hmm. Where next? I want nothing else like jumps at me. Leave that be for now. Let's see, where do I want... I do like the idea that there's lots of drones around the ship that help the common tasks, the simple things get done. We've got... That don't seem right. Let's see. Next piece I want... I don't know where to put that in terms of crew or ship information, though. See, I keep throwing the idea of making Lucy the first officer, but I don't know. Keep feeling I want another kind of researcher, but I don't know who. Kind of want... Let's edit that real fast, just to try and be a little more clear about parts of this. I want to find... I'm trying to think where else I want my brain to jump for the moment. Also kind of really threw that out there. Oh my. So... I want an engineer. Why is this not updating? Let's see if I can force this. Hey, it does refresh, it just takes a while. I'm looking for... see if I make... Stew. Well, the more I think about that, the more I like. So, chief engineer. That'll work. Yeah, I like that. I like that better. But from there, ba 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 ba. Don't really need that in there twice. I want. I don't know what I want for the doctor. Kind of cold. Hmm. I want to grab. I don't know. I almost feel like the cold doctor is almost overplayed, but I'll think on that one. If I hunt down... Definitely know what I want for the chef, though. Let's branch this out a little. You're a little finicky on your boxes here. Come on. Kitchen and... what is this? What are you using? I'm using a program called Scapple. It is a little it's a little program you can get. I'm using a 30-day trial, free trial. It's like $15, $20 otherwise to buy. And the whole idea of it is that you can kind of create thought bubbles to connect everything and plan bits out and edit together what you're wanting to do for your writing and your planning for stories and other stuff. I kind of talked about this earlier when I was starting up the stream for the night, but I've kind of thought in bubbles and taken my notes that way in class for like most of high school and college. So when I learned about this program being a way to build your data, and it's related to another writing program that allows you to help build e-publishing. That's called Scrivener, and it's fairly well known for writing. But part of it is with Scapple, when you're done, you can pull all the data from your notes right into Scrivener to basically build your outline and all that with. But yeah, like right now I'm right now I'm taking a little time. I worked out a bunch of my my main novel plot points, and now I'm kind of going back and I'm building out, like, I know that this research vessel obviously needs a crew. And while we probably will only see a handful of the crew, more than a handful of most of the crew, just a handful of times, I still wanted to sit there and have personalities and basic stories figured out for them. So I've been trying to go back and fill some of that in, because I'm at that point with my basic plot outline of I don't know where I want to build and add takeaway just yet. But I figured if I go ahead and I change gears and fill in some other pieces, that'll give me something to work with. Might help kick off some more ideas or other bits. But that's what it is and what I've been up to. See, my train of thought for this was oversees both the kitchen and mess hall, which is often, which is often pulling double duty as a meeting lounge. Since most of the research vessel is taken up by labs, ship systems, and personal quarters. Oh, hey! It turns out my alerts do still work. Plus Ultra Kaioken, thank you for the follow. And The Real Salties, thank you for the follow. I'm going to be working on this at least through, like, my plan. Again, I kind of talked about this earlier, but, like, my plan is to sit here and use 2 or 3 hours a night during Camp NaNoWriMo to plan the novel and get the other pieces ready. Maybe work on the outline, but not really start filling in dialogue or other bits. And then come November for actual full NaNoWriMo, then actually hit it and fill in the rest of the book. At least that's my goal. That's my thinking. Plus, that way, that gives me an excuse to use this for the month, and then decide if I want to pay for it after the free trial. Yeah, at first I wasn't sure if that would work, but when I was looking on the NaNoWriMo website, they actually have guidelines so that if you want to work on planning or design, world building, other pieces, that you can track it basically by the time you're putting into it, and use that instead of a raw novel word count to handle your progress. So that's what I'm doing for the month. And then after that for the month, I'll be doing. Thought you would have to work on a different book? No, because the thing is, I'm not writing the book at this point, and Camp never and NaNoWriMo never says it has to be a new project every time. It just has to be a project that you think you complete, whether that's writing the novel, editing a novel, planning, all those kind of pieces. They don't have to be all one bit. Yeah, just get in there and write. It doesn't have to be one hard pieces. Da, 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 da. I don't know if I want to put friendly and talkative, but like that's good. Need to do a novel edits. That might work. Yeah, you can actually say like one of the categories you can set your project to be is I'm editing. You know, it's like I have the book, but it's time to sit down, reread it, figure out what's tweaking, being changed. You know, corrected all the other loose bits. Like because my goal is roughly 2 to 3 hours a night for streaming as I work through it. The way that they do that is basically 1 minute of planning, editing, etc. As long as you're actually doing that, counts as a word. So, like my goal for camp is roughly 5,000 quote quote words, because if I do this for my 2 to 3 hours a night every night of the month, I should come out at roughly 5,500 words. So that's my count. That's my goal. Because I figure if I can have all the early stage stuff done, then I'll be able to sit down and, you know, work dialogue and work everything else if I've got that ready. So that's my goal there. I don't necessarily see. Now I've never done it. I have a friend that has done several nanos and has been part of the staff before and other stuff. And it's actually been through talking with them and some of their acquaintances where I was like, you know, I fell off streaming pretty much at the start of the year. Bunch of personal stuff, family illness, whole big messy deal. I'm not going to go into the details too much, but I wanted to get back into streaming. I wanted to flex my creative side. I've had several people tell me that parts of this story sounded really interesting, and so as I've described the premise to people, so I decided, you know what, that's how I'm going to break it up. I'm going to put together my planning and my outline. I'm going to sit down and hammer it out over camp, and then I'll turn around and take all that data I've laid out and turn it into the book in November. And then in between camp and actual Nano in November, I'll do some game streams and some other chill stuff. Maybe some in-between novel planning or some drawing. I used to draw pretty semi-decently, but I have been off that wagon for years, and that's going to take some relearning curves to solve. But yeah, that's the immediate piece. Oh, I was going to mention this since I do see you're here. A friend of mine actually gifted me the newest Yakuza game, Like a Dragon, earlier today. So I might play that and then go back and work through the other older titles. I haven't decided just yet. But partly is because I got to talking with my friend about what some of my stream goals were, and this is actually the friend that got me into the Yakuza games back on PS2, and he was so excited about the new one. He's loved talking about it, and he was just like, no, just don't worry, just skip the others you haven't played yet, just go play that one and play the new one. And I was like, oh well, maybe. And yeah, so that's I don't know. The tricky part is I'm kind of worried that, like Cyberpunk, my computer might not behave streaming it and playing it at the same time, but I figure it's at least worth a shot. Anyway, yeah, the curse of an aging video card. The biggest thing is the fact that I'm running an old video card. I'm running a 970, which it'll still run everything I throw at it, but if I'm trying to run something real intensive and stream, it very often hits right up against the video card's VRAM, and then it just chugs the stream as a result. Because that's what I found out was happening during my Cyberpunk stream when I was trying to play that when it first came out. I was hitting 100% graphics card use, and it just didn't leave anything left to process for OBS. Anyway, I'm probably talking way over the heads of some people. Don't know for sure, but I don't necessarily want to say like they're super, like the chefs. I don't necessarily want them to say be like they're super talkative, but I kind of want them to be. I want them to almost be the insight source, like the counselor. Like they'll kind of, because they listen to everything that comes through the kitchen and the mess hall, and then they'll be like, "Okay, so what's your problem?" I guess I can just be often act almost akin to advisors, I guess would work. And I managed to spell advisors. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Well, like a lot of this is getting kind of weird because it's like I'm describing who these people are, and then I have no names to attach to this, so for most of this yet, so it comes across as kind of weird, because the real answer is I hadn't thought about most of the supporting cast other than a couple of specific places where I knew I wanted certain people to be responsible for certain events. I'm assuming I'm reading this right, but if I'm wrong, you can say something. Akaswell? It's either a Caswell or Akaswell. But thank you for the follow. Oh, that's actually pretty good. That's 3 follows tonight already. Puts a little smile on my face. I really don't know what I want for personalities for the ship's officer or the doctor and nursing staff. I still want someone. I still feel like I need like one more major researcher type. Like, you've got the main character who's kind of a xenolinguistics expert. I have their professor, which is actually kind of the head of the expedition and is xenoarchaeology. I've got a geologist, a botanist, and kind of what I just kind of labeled technical specialist, because like I don't really know what to call it, but the idea would be like they're really good at analyzing foreign technology systems and figuring out like this is what that is, this is how this worked. A tech analyst. But I feel like there needs because the whole point of the crew before they encounter the ship that kicks the storyline off is that they were going to a fringe world that had some ruins, signs of ancient life discovered, and they were there to go get info on the planet and info on the ruins and see what they can kind of piece together. But I'm not sure. I have that just that nagging back of the head. There needs to be like 1 or 2 more specialist researchers, but I can't really place what I want for those slots. Because part of it is I don't want the crew to be giant. I like the idea of it being, like think of the old days, where you get like a 15, 20 person research expedition and they go to Africa or Egypt or something like that. It's kind of the feel I want of the crew. It just so happens we're in space instead. But let's see. I guess if I've already made the captain kind of hard, kind of be the serious, hard-nosed person, I guess it makes sense to go ahead and make the first officer more lighthearted. Obviously serious and dedicated in their job, but still relatively lighthearted comparatively. Still don't know. Like, my default is the doctor should kind of come across as like the cold and uncaring, but that almost feels too like for a smaller, more personal crew, that seems a little out of whack. So maybe not cold, but like what's the what I'm thinking, like what's the term when someone's like like say you were injured and you go into the medical lab, like the doctor wouldn't necessarily be like cold and be like, what the hell are you even doing here, that's nothing serious, but they'd kind of have that attitude of like, oh, what the hell did you do to yourself this time? I can see like the doctor and the chief engineer being very much often at odds with each other, because the engineer like might come in for little scrapes and bits to be safe, and the doctor's just like, good God, can't you stay out of here for more than 24 hours? I'm not sure how to phrase that, but that's kind of the personality I'm thinking of. Kind of standoffish, I guess, would be kind of close. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll fix you up, but why do I have to keep having to see? Why are you here? Incredulous? Maybe. Let's see. This is often one of my problems. I'll sit there and I'll specifically think of something, and then I realize I don't have the word I'm thinking of. No, incredulous. I don't think incredulous quite fits. Throwing that into the dictionary. Appreciate the idea, the attempt though, because like that's more like skeptical attitude. Brusque is pretty close. But I don't want it to be extreme. I don't want it to be like run like people would avoid the medical help for it, or something like that. But I'd say that's probably pretty close. Might have to split the assistant into a different character sheet. I like the idea of trying to run them together, but that might be a little too much. But yeah, doctor would be... Okay, I like this one. What's this one? Just called ABXY. Okay. I don't know if... I'm hoping you all can actually hear the music, because I actually don't know how loud or how soft I have it. It should be decently hearable, but shouldn't be overpowering either. I just know when I get real focused, I can get really quiet, so I didn't want it to be dead air, Nothing makes people wonder like if anyone's even paying attention to their own stream, like dead air. But I guess that works for... It's okay? Good. need to expand that. That's one of the things because it resizes to my original width, and that's definitely not gonna. There we go. Scoot that over. I can't resist a good medical mystery. Also, don't know if I want the doctor to what I want the doctor to be yet. That's one of the bits. Lost audio might be my Wi-Fi. Uh-oh. Let's say all the audio looks like it's coming through on my end. I'm not showing any dropped frames. Okay. I'll have to take your word at that for now. Nothing else looks out of whack. I am thumb typing tonight. Like if I get to typing real fast or thinking ahead of myself, I kind of call it thumb typing. It's like, my thumbs will bump into other keys or I end up out of order. It's typoing with style. Yeah, I'll do assistant as like a separate line. That'll work. That'll work. I emptied my coffee cup. I don't want to go get more though. I've got some positive patterns running. Makes me glad I grabbed a cup of water. Going to pop out for now. Thanks for the camper device. You're welcome. Definitely, if you want to, feel free to hop by. I'll be going most nights for the month, like I said. Definitely love to kind of spitball idea. Like, one of my favorite things to do is to spitball ideas and concepts around. So feel free to come back. Assistant will probably be. Let's rework a few of these. Assistant is. Very curious individual. Joel. Actually, when it comes to other species and their own differing, technologies and care methods. Methods? Yeah, let's rework these so I have a little bit of a standard going. Captain. I kind of started two different note styles here as I went. A lot of these still... What's the question marks for? It's universe. Like I had like some where I had like position, character name, and writing all in the same line, and I had some where I would have like the position and then break into the next, and then space it out. So I was sitting there and dealing with the fact that I basically had two different ways to read some of these, so I sorted it back. Little nuances that my eyes will track easier later. Anyway, assistant. Duh. Doctor can be I'm still not sold on the doctor and assistant. I feel like that might need some tweaking, but hey, get back there. All right. Like doctor, I'm still not sold on personality. First officers, where I'm just like almost a complete blank. Other than I want them to be a slight foil to the captain, but not enough that they butt heads on things. So I know. Let's do... traveled woman, similar age to the captain. Age and wife too. Okay, I'll come back to that in just a sec because I'm going to edit captain before I forget. Although you're not necessarily watching, you're listening. Hey, the listening can be just as important. Although I've heard some people say if you mute a stream, you apparently stop counting as a viewer. I don't know if that's true, but that's I've seen a couple people mention that in recent days. But that's also like if I've noticed this if I'm watching on my phone, because I have tested this with a friend. If I'm watching on my phone and I put my phone into sleep, but I still get the stream audio, I don't count then either. It seems a little weird. Like, I guess there's different rules for different chunks, but you know. Similar age, wife to the captain. Do you know if people get more views on VODs rather than watch it? You mean like on live watches? It depends. I would say it depends on the streamer. Like, if it's a smaller community thing, I imagine you probably don't get a lot of VOD watches, just because there's not a lot of people that are going to chase for that content. Like one of my roommate has been streaming Shin Megami Tensei 4, and apparently because that's a very niche but a very fervent fan base, he's had a bunch of views on the VODs for that, and for some of the for some stuff when he's done like Stardew Valley. Because that's a fairly niche game, but among its fan base, it's pretty fervent. Like, I know I'll leave my VOD up on Twitch for a month or so that it's allowed to be on there, and then I just offload it to YouTube just so that I have an archive. But aside from that, I really can't say that I sit there and compare the numbers, but I don't have a lot of data to go off of. I just know like some bits I see here and there. I know I'll watch a stream like day after once in a while if it's something that I really wanted to watch, but for me at least, part of the fun of interacting with the stream is because it's live, so anyway, let's see. Want her to be... I don't want to say acts as a foil, because that's definitely not what I want to go for. Caring... 112 on the VOD. Dang, that's actually really cool. Yeah, I was actually kind of quietly watching the D&D stream the other night when you were going. I hadn't I was kind of in one of my deep thinking phases, so I really didn't want to jump in, and that's kind of why I didn't say anything at the time on chat, but I was there watching a good chunk of it. Warm personality, light personality. It's warm works. It did feel like there was a lot of the I don't want to say herding cats, but it definitely felt like there was a lot of chasing people around to get things to behave correctly. Still in that finding the group ability to mesh. Phew. Oh no, no. See, I would imagine DMs are some of the DMs are some of the most chaotic because they want to know exactly if they're playing with someone else. They want to know exactly where that line is before they cross it, that they can screw with things. That does not surprise me at all. If they're a bunch of DMs. Uh, trying to figure out how I want to process the first officer personality wise a bit. This is my normal writing style, fleshing everything out. For yes and no. Like, I've always been, because this is the first like major writing project in years where it's like, I want to sit down and turn this into something. But a lot of times when I'm putting stories together, I'll get like a core idea, find some other interesting hooks to tie to it, and then I sit here and I break I break down all what I consider the major components. So I'll want the main cast to be sorted out. Quick little characters I'm not going to fret over too much until it's time to sit down and figure out what the heck they're going to be needed for. But for characters that we're going to see more than a time or two, I would rather have the information on hand. Like, you weren't here earlier, but like, let me scooch over. Like, one of the first thing I did for like the first 40 minutes, hour or so, is I sat there and I broke down the sequence of events for the majority of the book. Like, this leads to this, which leads to this, which creates these events that happen. And it's just a matter of like where exactly on this line the book will start, or if I'll do part of it in flashback, or what's going to go where. But I got to this little bit at the end where I'm not sure. I've got like 2 or 3 different major ideas on where I can pull that out into the next piece, but I don't know where I want it to go. Yeah, this is my timeline. Like, this is the order of events as it'll happen in the book. And then, since I was kind of stuck on that, I thought it would make sense to kind of go work on some of the cast. Because that way, if I have more thoughts on the cast and who's going to be involved in what, it might help make more sense about what's going to come together. But that's why I'll kind of do this back and forth for a while until something, like generally something will click, whether that literally be pondering something in the shower, or putting other ideas together and having something that just tangentially is related, and then it'll finally click and go, that's how I want this to happen. And that's what I'll go do. Because like if I went back into my flowchart, you'd see like I already have basically a group of pirates and salvagers discover the ship that the expedition crew discovers shortly after they get there, and that creates a lot of the conflict because they get run off once really easily, but then they come back with more power behind them to try and force their way in. They get swatted off again. So I'm at that spot of like, well, I need a reason for the main character to act again, but I don't know if I want it to necessarily be pirates are back for a third time, because that almost seems like that might be getting to be a little too much, but it also kind of makes the most sense. They've basically found what they expect to be one hell of a haul, and the only thing standing between them is them and getting away with it is this little 15-man crew, a dozen or so mostly researchers that just keep managing to push them off. Because kind of where I really want the book to come together at the end is I want the relationship between Robin and Lucy to be accepted, to be a thing, and I want Robin to basically accept that she's basically the caretaker of the ship now. Like, she has accepted the ship and the ship has accepted her as its captain. So, but I'm trying to figure out how to get there without it feeling. I have that really weird gap of I love tropes, but I hate relying on the trope. I want some tweak, some twist to make it interesting along the way. I'd actually say like My Hero Academia does that really, really well. yes, a lot of the characters and the world stuff and bits that you see in My Hero Academia are full of character tropes, but they'll do something interesting in how they use their quirks or how that fits into the worldview that makes it pop instead of just that's just the way it is, you know. Anyway, uh, do 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 do. Actually, I kind of like that idea. I cannot type. Thank God for spell check. There we go. I think that'll work. Because, like, to me, one of the core themes of the book is accepting that who you are and accepting who you need to be are both different things, but are often tied together. That's kind of like one of the big underlying themes to me that I want to try and get across. Yeah. Do, 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 do. I mean, the idea can be complicated, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it has to make the story complicated. Like, this is kind of a screwy example, but think of it this way. Uh, think of it like this. Let's say someone realizes in their life that they are LGBT, whatever flavor of that turns out to be. And because of that, they also discover that there's not a charity or a assistance group that helps with, say an issue that community faces, like, say, housing. So maybe they start a charity or organization to help underserved LGBT people find housing. Well, that can be an example of finding a purpose as a result of also accepting who you really are. Hopefully that didn't sound too weird. Like, I think that's a good example in my head. Because that person goes through that ordeal, they realize things that only they that not necessarily only they, but because they've gone through that ordeal, now they're in a unique position to help in such a position. I still feel like I need another researcher position or two, but I don't know what to go for. That's one of those will probably come back later. Guess I can explain Gina a little bit here. That needs to pull wider. Mm-hmm. It's actually one of the other things I'm kind of waffling on back and forth is like, do I want the expedition ship's crew to be all human, mostly human, some mix? I don't know. I'm still kind of waffling on that back and forth. Yeah, that's the one thing I'm pondering is like that's one of those things that might pull together as I do more of the world building and planning. It's not really from the computer core. It's kind of just the whole computer. That ended up taller than I wanted. Let's scoot this around a bit. I do appreciate how easily I can scoot this stuff around, because otherwise I would be leaving piles of things laying around. Alright. However, it does mean I've been going for 3 hours at this point, a little more. And I think I've made a good day one progress. I've got a bunch of the core staff planned out. I've got my rough outline of where we're going, even if I don't have my finale pieces tied in yet. And I'll probably start doing some of the further world building plotting tomorrow. I think that'll be a good spot to pick up with. So actually, I think that's a good stopping spot for the night. So let's go ahead and let's kill the regular music. And I'll try and be going around the same time. So probably like 8 to 11-ish. Start at 8, end around 11-ish Central Time. Is kind of what I'm aiming for most evenings. Like I said, I'll be doing this pretty much the entire month. And hope you come along for the ride and have a good time. So till then, see y'all tomorrow.